Hey everyone, welcome to the Art Beauty Podcast where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. Although today's story, we're dealing with a very real thing, which is sun damage. It's the middle of the summer and, as good as we try to be, that sun is not our friend. Although it does make our skin feel really good. My very esteemed guest today is Dr. James Beckman. He is a plastic and reconstructive surgeon, but also he's the founder of Therapon, which is the Theraderm system. And, Dr. Beckman, you've got a really interesting story about how you created this line. Can you tell me that?
Well, as a reconstructive surgeon, I saw a lot of burn patients, and I developed a cream that restored pliability and usefulness to burn scars. And I noticed that a lot of my patients, when they went to the beach, got a sunburn, and they put product on their face in their normal regimen, that the red went away, the stinging went away, the sunburn didn't blister, etc. And so
Wow.
we started doing some research of why. And what we're doing is we're able to redirect energy coming in from the sun that are harmful sun rays into stored chemical energy.
Okay,
And
wait. So when you say that, I'm going to stop you for a second there. Do you mean like when you're able to block like a sunblock?
now sun blocks actually absorb the rays. In other
Okay.
words, during the time in the sun. This is after you get home, the hour drive back from the beach, and the kids are saying, "Oh, I hurt all over it. I'm burning."
Yeah.
So within 6 hours after that burn exposure, we can reverse it. Works the
Wow,
same.
my mind is blown, by the way, because I'm actually right after this heading out to my beach vacation. So, which one of these babies am I taking with me?
Well, you take them all to use on for whatever. But the thereupon fruit acid is the product that would do what I'm talking about.
Okay,
That's it.
and to give people a little bit of context, and because we keep it real here, when somebody from your company reached out and said, "Hey, we've got this line." Full disclosure, they sent it to me to try, but this isn't sponsored. This isn't branded. I've been using it now for 2 weeks, and it's number one. I love it because it's a very easy system. It's a face wash. It's an exfoliator. You've got this reparative serum and then a moisturizer, giving you the basics. They also send something which is a new peel. This is amazing, which I'm using now 2 to 3 times a week. And I got to say, a lot of the times I try this stuff, and there's a lot of products out there that claim to be really great, and then um, I feel like my skin feels tighter. Now, you're also saying, though, that this is going to be able to help me undo some of the damage that I've done prior, or is it just like right afterwards? If you get sunburned, now is the time to help
Well,
that.
it's both. The last product, that moisturizer, the one that you're using, actually is an anti-aging moisturizer. There's an ingredient in there that we're the only company allowed to use. It's covered by 31 patents, and
Okay.
it was developed to put on a full thickness, third degree burn at Brooke Army Hospital. It wasn't developed by Brooke, but for them.
Okay.
And it will regrow new skin. We did a 12-week study with women and saw a 40% reduction in neck skin laxity. In other words,
Wow.
that's shrinking the stretched out skin in an older person. So,
How old was the person, if you don't mind my asking?
it was 12 women over a 3-month study, and it was age 40 to 65.
Which is amazing. So I'm at the younger end of this. I'm just 40, but I was wondering, would this work in women in their 50s and 60s? So that's really great to hear.
We
Now,
have a
what is it?
number. We
Oh,
have a
sorry.
number of patients over age 70 that have been using it 15 years that swear up and down they're never going to quit using it.
Of course, I went in and I looked at all of the reviews on like the various different sites, and that's what you seem to see is that people who've been using this for a long time swear by it. Um, let's talk about some of what it. You mentioned that magic ingredient, the magic peptides, correct?
Right.
And so, what is their mechanism of action? Like, how does that work to help regrow skin?
Well, peptides are short chains of amino acids.
Hmm.
The DNA in your cells, for instance, is many thousands of amino acids stuck together. Keratin is in every cell in our body, in the skin, in the cell walls of skin cells, but it's also 98% of the makeup in wool from sheep. So you
Okay.
can shear a sheep. They do in the summertime, keep them cool. You save the wool and you hydrolyze that with acid. Now, I don't, but the company that does was started and founded by a person that was chief resident in plastic surgery, where I trained 6 months apart. So we
Okay.
spent 80 hours a week together. And he developed this patent. And he said, Jim, you got to use this in one of your products. So Paul Mitchell, the hair guy, wanted to use it only exclusively in hair products. And my friend said, no, it's Jim Beckman's my best friend. He's the only one that can use it.
Amazing. It's good to have friends in high places. And, I do want to just remind people too that I found this also really interesting because of the burn victims, because, there is there's a company, a very well-known company, Lemaire, that also got its foundations in treating patients with burns. And so I guess it makes wonderful sense that this is really directed towards, being able to undo a lot of the UV damage, which is really what causes a majority of our skin aging, correct?
Yeah, 80% of aging is from chronic, cumulative, lifetime sun exposure. Now, that's not
Hmm.
sunburn every weekend at the beach. That's walking from the car in the house. You get 2 minutes of sunlight. Well, it goes on the ledger sheet as cumulative sun.
Yeah. Is there something in this skincare that's going to help with the dark spots of sun damage?
Well, obviously, dark spots are abnormal or a result, long-term injury effects from damage to the melanocyte, which is a cell that makes melanin, which is the
Right.
brown pigment in skin. And when you mess up a melanocyte, it starts producing extra amounts. So you have to suppress, you have to slow down the production of new melanin that's there. And that
Okay.
melanin is all in the epidermis. That's skin that's going to exfoliate. So we use an exfoliation process, and for true sun damage, melanin, dark spots, coloration pigment that you want to decrease, we do chemical peels or laser or some other form of rapid removal. But at the same time, you have to suppress new production or it'll grow
Right.
right back.
Now, I asked if this could be used in conjunction with retinol. And your team actually said it doesn't need to be, but I'm being very honest here. Once I got started on my retinol journey, I don't want to take a break from it because it takes a while to get your skin sort of used to that. So how will it play off with the retinol?
Let's talk about retinol a little bit. Retinol has no permanent effect. You quit using it, and your skin goes back to where it was.
I
We're
know.
getting the same result without using it. So we don't have a retinol product.
Gotcha. So you're finding that and what is it that's giving that same result?
It's those four products used every day that are actually reversing the brain, if you will, in skin cells, saying,
Okay.
let's go back to being nice children.
Can this be used not just on ourselves, but like if we get a burn at the beach, what is the best way to use this system?
First would be to get out of the sun,
Yeah.
obviously, and cool off and do whatever. Uh, Actually, before that, use sunscreen before you go to the beach to prevent the damage. But most people don't until or they use it and don't use it frequently enough. If you don't reapply sunscreen every 2 hours, you're going to get a burn if you're out there.
Thank you. And also, I would like to take this moment to add my own little PSA in here. If you don't put it on chemical sunscreen, if you don't put it on at least a half hour before you get outside, it doesn't have enough time to work with your skin. Am I correct, doctor?
Absolutely.
That's a message to my husband. I finally have gotten him. I'm like, you can't, if you put on sunscreen at the beach, that first half hour, it's not doing anything. Unless it's a physical blocker, but for most chemical sunscreens, right? It takes time for your skin to.
There's that. Plus, most people are out in the sun at the beach or a swimming pool, and they want to go for a dip and cool off. So you go swimming and you wash it off. So you got to reapply after every swim or water association.
Okay. So then what's next with you've created this incredible skincare system that really does have a cult following, and I will be, continuing to talk about this. I started this 2 weeks ago. And again, one of the things that I like is that even though I'm getting this exfoliation, my skin doesn't feel dry. And I don't know. It feels like you can feel this instant tightening effect. So yeah, thank you for that.
I think a key is in the moisturizer step. I don't know of another product that's an aesthetic skincare product that's a lanolin-based moisturizer. In other words, you've got vegetable oils, mineral oils, and natural animal oils. Lanolin is a natural animal oil, and it absorbs into the skin. If you put I don't want to use a brand name, but one of the common $5 or less moisturizers on your skin, it coats the surface of the skin. You get that silky smooth feeling, but the first time you wash your hands, it's gone and it's dry, flaky skin.
So Dr. Beckman, thank you so much for all of the time and energy that you've put into developing this line. I'm really hoping that it does all of the things without the retinol irritation. I have to ask, what else, is there anything else in the pipeline?
Oh, yeah. I'm continually doing research outside of skincare with both the University of Arkansas here in Fayetteville, our undergraduate school, and their biochemistry department. We're doing a research study with mice that we can sunburn a mouse, if you will, with artificial UV light, and then putting our lactic acid product on that. And we're looking at some really intricate studies down at the molecule level that are showing us that we're actually redirecting that energy that would cause a sunburn back over into stored energy. And I think I mentioned that in earlier on. That's proven the mechanism of how that works. But we're working with some nanoparticles. One was a patent granted in 2014 to use on melanomas, which are surface skin cancers, but they're very deadly. And you apply that nanoparticle in only a 1% concentration in an ointment or a product you put on, and shine a halogen light, same light that's in a street light, for an hour. And we're able to kill 98% of the melanoma cells with no surgery.
I don't know if you saw me. I was saying thank you. Number one, I feel so strongly about skin cancer because it is one of the most deadly, but one that I find to be very preventable and or treatable because we can see it, we can catch it. I also, nanotechnology to me is so fascinating. For people who aren't aware, although you're dealing with like extremely tiny micronized particles, right? Getting things down so small. Delivery systems, they also have like nano robots, correct?
Yeah, nano is just a length, it's a measurement length. There's 1 billion nanometers in a meter. That's 3 feet. So it's really small when you get down to 10 or 15 nanometers, and that's the size of our particles.
And so what is it? So you've just figured out delivery systems in that nano
No,
size?
I've always been involved with the chemistry department here at our university. And whenever they had a visiting professor from Russia, I've been to Russia a number of times, and whenever they had a visiting professor from Russia, they would always invite me to a dinner. Long story short, he has 70 PhD scientists under him at Moscow State University. And I told him my idea about a nanoparticle that would trap sunlight. And he said, let me think on it. And by the time he had flown back to Moscow in 3 days or whatever, he wrote me an email and said, Jim, I figured it out. We'll do this, this, and this, and make the nanoparticle this size, and it will actually trap the energy that's coming in. Like a person that plays golf gets the golf ball to go in the hole, and it spins around and drops to the bottom and can't get out. Doesn't have enough energy to get out. So that's what that nanoparticle does.
Wow. And this will be used to treat melanoma?
Well, that becomes a drug claim, and you got FDA.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. But the goal is to
treat melanomas, and then we have another one that we can treat lung cancers or colon cancers or liver cancers. Wow. Same nanoparticle gets absorbed, goes directly to the cancer cell, and tells the cancer cell, kill yourself.
And now how does it, and it does this without affecting other healthy cells around it?
Absolutely.
Wow. And how does that work?
Well, first of all, cancer cells take in an enormous amount of blood flow. They grow faster, and cancer cells never die. So it just keeps eroding and taking over the neighborhood, if you will. And it gets first dibs on anything to eat. So the nanoparticles are thought to be taken in as maybe a food stuff, and they don't want to leave. They tell the cancer cells, I fooled you, kill yourself.
You know what? God bless you, Dr. Beckman. I mean, I'm going to be pulling for you because, cancer is certainly something that touches so many of our lives. And, I just hope that we live in a time where we can see better and more humane treatment for that. Thank you so much for all you've done. If people want to know more about this Theraderm line, where can they go?
Well, just online to theraderm.net, or they can email me. My personal email is jbeckman@therapon.com.
Be careful with that. My dermatologist, Dr. Jabber, would warn you about that because I write to him now about everything. If I get a cold, if I get a fever. But Dr. Beckman, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing a lot of the science and filling us in on all of these exciting new advancements that you're embarking upon. If you guys have questions or things that you want us to talk to Dr. Beckman about again, just let us know. You can write us at hello@artbeautypodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Art Beauty Podcast, and of course on YouTube at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday.